Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. Today's date, April 26, 2026, time in Texas, about 1 p.m. Some of the things we'll cover. First, Vance was out. And the shooter, it appears, may have ties to Israel. President Trump talks about his ballroom. And the U.S. military appears to prep for multiple fronts. So let's get started. We have this about space weather. Now, in the last 3 days, we've had multiple M flares. First M's of a 4 to 5 category. Then we had 2 X's, a 2.4, a 2.5. Then we had another M, about a 6. And these impacted communications on the Earth, especially in the area of the Middle East and I believe Australia. Today, April 26th, we are having a G1 geomagnetic storm, and more X's are possible. So we've heard about the shooting that took place at the White House Correspondents' Dinner being held at the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C., where a shooter was able to penetrate the first perimeter of security, at which time the shooter was immediately taken down by Secret Service, Metro Police, FBI. The shooter did manage to fire 5 to 8 shots, one of them hitting a Secret Service agent and his or her bulletproof vest, and was taken to a local hospital and is expected to be okay. The shooter was not shot, but was also taken to a local hospital for evaluation. And what can we say about the state of the world? It's a hot, hot mess, isn't it? Because we see the U.S. military prepping for multiple fronts. We're hearing from P. Gurus out of India that the U.S. military is now building a base in Nepal. That's right on the border with China. And we had from Chinese sources a couple of weeks ago that the U.S. military is actively repairing U.S. military bases on islands in the Indo-Pacific area. And what's going on in Africa? Could it be that the U.S. is putting up a glove against Russia? And what can we say about Europe when it appears NATO is desperately trying for an FF? So those are some of the things, and of course there's Iran. I believe the U.S. military next hit on Iran will be a KO, a knockout. So let's get started. And the shooter at the Correspondents' White House dinner last night is identified as 31-year-old Cole Thomas Allen out of Torrance, California. And yeah, he's being evaluated at a local hospital. Now, New York Prepper came out last night with the video showing President Trump, Melania, and a Secret Service agent holding up a small sheet of paper with a V on it. I submit this, that when the shooting incident took place outside the ballroom, inside the Washington Hilton, that the real Vice President Vance was evac first, then President Trump, Melania, cabinet members next. And then we heard within 30 minutes a presser at the White House. I believe that was the real President Trump, giving the presser. And we have this. Yeah. So now it's being put forth by U.S. intel. And at the presser, President Trump brought out how great his new ballroom would be, totally secure, as opposed to the insecure Washington Hilton. So yeah, President Trump did put that message out. Now we have from U.S. intel a tie being put forth by the U.S. between the shooter and Israel. So it's being put forth that in February of 2026 on the social media, Instagram, that the shooter, Cole Thomas Allen, appeared in an IDF t-shirt. That's Israel Defense Force. Could it be that there was a real attempt being planned by a foreign group outside the U.S., on which the U.S. picked up and then put forth the shooting incident at the correspondents' dinner? Just saying. And now we have this from Epoch Times, American Thought Leaders, that the CCP controls 2,000 plus groups inside the U.S. and China who are directly tied to the CCP. Now from Enforcer, we have this. Yes, so supposedly overnight, there was a Russian drone that was fired over Ukraine, but then appeared to go into Romania. And as the drone came into the airspace over Romania, NATO French planes were up, but the French planes did not fire upon the drone. Instead, the drone fell to the ground inside Romania, but did not explode. I submit this, that could have been a fake drone alleged to be from Russia that wasn't shot down by the French planes because NATO wants an FF to occur, a false flag, to occur on a NATO nation to spring forth Article 5 of NATO. It appears that Europe is desperate to get into an up-close and personal match against Russia. So that's going on. And we have this. We know that also the U.S. military, even last night, according to New York Prepper, was continuing to surge up to 20 of the 130s, the big transport planes, to the Middle East. I submit the next time the U.S. hits Iran, it'll be a KO. And we have this. Yeah, so we're also seeing in the Middle East, Israel and the Hezbollah proxy group for Iran inside Lebanon, a separate government and country from Hezbollah, but we see Hezbollah continuing to fire on Israel and Israel to fire back. Now, we have heard there was an extension of a ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon for 3 weeks. But Israel and Lebanon are not Hezbollah, who is controlled, a paramilitary group, by a foreign nation, Iran. So we see that going on. We see also Somali in Africa, also working with Iran, the Houthis in Yemen, to close the Bab al-Mandeb Strait. And inside Mali, we're having what's being put forth as a civil war between the people versus the Russian-controlled government. I submit this, that the U.S. is behind this uprising inside. So we have Africa, we have Libya, Russia has a military base in Libya. We have Algeria and then Mali. Mali is where it's alleged the people of Mali are fighting against the Russian government. I submit this is U.S. backed. We have down here Somalia, and the pirates are coming out also to close the Bab al-Mandeb Strait in collusion with Iran and Russia and China. We have this from Tusi TV. Yeah, the talks between the U.S. and Iran over Saturday or Monday have been canceled by the U.S. We continue to note there are explosions in various areas in Iran, especially in their capital, Tehran. It's believed that these explosions are being put forth by U.S. and Israel force, CIA, Mossad, plus the Iranian people who are in full revolt against the government, the proxy government, controlled by China and Russia, I believe. So that's going on. And we have, Israel continues to hit the Hezbollah in Lebanon. And we had the foreign minister, Irgc, of Iran, while there were preliminary moves to schedule talks between the U.S. and Iran in Pakistan, like Friday. We saw then the Irgc, the foreign minister for Iran, believed to be, it's my belief, believed to be controlled by the Irgc, not committing to talks with the U.S., but instead going on a trip. He first went to Pakistan, then he went to Oman, then he was to go back to Pakistan, and then go to Russia. I submit this. Irgc is acting as a go-between between anti-U.S. forces inside Pakistan, Oman, and of course, Russia. So we have that going on. So Pigaroos puts forth the U.S. is now building U.S. military bases in Nepal. And as I put forth from multiple sources about a month ago, the U.S. military is rebuilding World War II U.S. military bases in the Indo-Pacific. We're hearing that the Dems, surprise, surprise, are receiving foreign money believed to be from the CCP. And that it's possible the Irgc has really been played hard. I credit Tusi TV with putting forth this theory that we know that the Irgc have brought in proxies. They brought in paramilitaries from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Iraq, who, it's being put forth, are simply mercenaries, and that it's highly possible they're inside Iran and are being paid much more money by the U.S. So, it could be that the Irgc brought in these paramilitaries, and yet the Irgc has been played hard. We'll have to see how that works out. And President Trump moves to take Spain out of NATO or suspend Spain's rights to NATO protection. A civil war is going on in Mali. Some sources say it's the Mali people versus the Russian government. I submit it's the U.S. government and being propped up by U.S. military. So, this concludes my flash update. I love you, and I'll see you soon.